So this is from the Verge right here, guys. As one Destiny 2 saga ends, Bungie prepares for the future. We sat down with Game Director Joe Blackburn to talk about the future of the Destiny universe. Destiny 2 Lightfall was unusual for Bungie. The now Sony-owned studio hyped up Lightfall as the beginning stages of the biggest light versus darkness battle we've ever seen. The battle begins here and now, said Commander Zavala, in an epic launch trailer. The in-game reality felt for many that the story writing was lackluster. Even 6 months on, Lightfall has mostly negative reviews on Steam, a sign that fans were expecting more. There's now a lot riding on the final shape, the upcoming Destiny 2 expansion that's set to conclude the Light and Darkness saga of Destiny in February, a story that's been told for nearly 10 years now. But with the unease in the Destiny community, how is the final shape going to draw unhappy or lapsed players back into Destiny 2, and what does the future hold for the Destiny universe? Lightfall is probably our most out-of-bounds release from like a big crazy urban fantasy, from the kind of story we were telling, and from even the way we've told it over the years, admits Joe Blackburn, game director of Destiny 2, in an interview with The Verge. The final shape we knew from the beginning was going to be the most core thing we've ever shipped. What I hope for is, if you ever like Destiny, this expansion is for you. It sounds like the final shape will return to the type of storytelling and experience Bungie does best, and something we certainly saw in The Witch Queen recently. Bungie is keeping tight-lipped on the narrative details of the final shape. We do know players will enter the Traveler, a mysterious entity in the universe of Destiny that hangs motionless in the sky as a source of light for the Destiny players. There will also be a battle with the Witness, the main antagonist of Destiny's Light and Darkness saga, who commands the Black Fleet, an armada of pyramid vessels that players have seen plenty of in-game and in trailers. But once this battle is over, what happens to the future of Destiny? Bungie is pivoting to what it calls episodes, 3 chunks of new content per year for Destiny 2 that are slightly bigger in scope than what is offered on a seasonal basis right now. We definitely look at episodes as the evolution of the seasonal model, not the evolution of Destiny all up, says Blackburn. Yeah, these are actually the different episodes. If you remember the big Forsaken DLC, that was 3 drops of content in a year too, exactly. But it often felt slow, like you were waiting for something to happen in the game. 3 a year allowed us to do larger, cohesive stories. We've learned a lot in the past 2 or 3 years of our seasonal model about how we can do things better, says Blackburn. Each episode will include 3 acts with new quests, story, armor, weapons, and activities. Bungie is also committing to a new exotic weapon and new exotic mission every single episode for the first 3, Echoes, Revenant, and Heresy, that start after the final shape. It's also interesting that Bungie has timed this content to begin in March, not immediately at the final shape launch. Okay, so I wonder if it's going to be 6 weeks. It's going to start 6 weeks after the launch of Final Shape. Something else to remember, guys. Bungie is also committed to a new exotic weapon and a new exotic mission every single episode. Are we not going to continue having because right now we have raid dungeon is what we have. So I wonder how that's going to be mixed in there. Maybe they say something about it. So what happens to the yearly big release of Destiny 2 content that players look forward to? Is that going away? Blackburn was hesitant to answer this directly, instead referring me to a statement from the Destiny 2 account on X Twitter. Destiny 2 will continue after the final shape and the 3 episodes announced today. Over the past 5 years, we've been driving toward the culmination of the Light and Darkness saga. It's a crucial moment in the Destiny universe, but far from the last big story we have to tell. This statement doesn't say yes or no to a big yearly DLC though. What we're trying not to do is scare people that Destiny 2 is going away. It's not. Our support for it is not ending, explains Blackburn. We're also just trying to stay focused on what's in front of us here and not turn the conversation into the next 2 years. Guys, I don't think we're going to get an annual. I don't know. Maybe we will, but what if we don't get an annual expansion after the final shape for a bit? What if we get these episodes for about 2, maybe 3 years? Marathon is releasing next year, right? Yeah, 2025 for Marathon. The question I think that Bungie is wondering is, well, not wondering, what we're wondering, do you think they're concerned that Destiny, even though it's 2 very different games from what it appears to be based on what Bungie's told us, but do y'all think that there's some concern that Destiny would take attention away from Marathon? Oh, it's saying Marathon is for 2024, new IP is for 2025. Maybe that these episodes are going to be so content packed we won't need a big annual expansion? Maybe. So Bungie doesn't seem ready to talk about specifics, and I think a lot of that is because the studio is still figuring out exactly how storytelling for Destiny 2 will evolve beyond the immediate focus of the final shape in the year ahead. It sounds like episodes will truly move the story forward, though, which won't necessarily mean an entirely new cast of characters. You should expect a mix of old and new characters. What we don't want to do is tell stories where the only way you can enjoy the story is if you have a PhD in Destiny lore from the Light and Darkness saga, says Blackburn. Part of the beauty of Destiny is the lore, with 4-hour videos from masters like Bife ready to help players piece together Bungie storytelling. But nobody should need to watch hours of videos to understand Destiny 2, and Bungie has been working to improve new player experience for years now, with varying degrees of success, so it doesn't feel overwhelming and confusing. one of our covert success stories from Lightfall. The players we've brought in over the last year have been stickier in Destiny than they ever been, reveals Blackburn. He attributes most of this to Guardian ranks, which hopefully guide new Destiny 2 players through the experience of the game to complete activities to upgrade their character. But beyond what to do in the game, the entire story can often feel confusing to new players who don't always get the chance to catch up on the story, on the history, and lore. Bungie is introducing a new timeline reflection feature that allows players to experience major plot points and events from Destiny's past. The first of these launched this week, with players able to once again experience the demise of Cade 6. It's a great reminder of the strong Destiny storytelling and content that Bungie has produced over the years, and I had a fun experiencing it with friends who are also keen to revisit Cade 6's past story. The final shape is now designed for any Destiny 2 player to jump back into, regardless of the previous progress in the game. Part of the lure of Destiny has been power leveling your characters with armor and gear, but in recent years, it has felt like an unrewarding job that prevents friends from joining certain activities until they've spent time grinding to the necessary light level. A new Fireteam power system is going to address that, letting anyone access most activities in the game, even if they're not at the right power. So if you have a friend who spends their free time in Destiny 2, you'll be able to jump in with all of your blue gear on and get activities finished without feeling like a burden. If you stop playing at Destiny 2 launch, you might want to put on a special weapon and a heavy weapon, jokes Blackburn, referring to the double primary weapon meta during the launch phase of Destiny 2. But what about solo play? Often hear from Destiny 2 fans who just don't care about fire teams or having to use an LG system to find people to play with. I think in some way, the final shape is a more solo-friendly experience than we've ever shipped before, says Blackburn. We have some things we're excited about, and I think the final shape is going to be a really good experience however you want to play. Blackburn teases that part of the improvements will be down to the new Pale Hearts, a linear destination inside of the Traveler that's unlike anything we've seen in Destiny 2. The other side of Destiny 2 that doesn't always get as much attention as fans hope during Bungie's showcase is player versus player. The future of Destiny 2 won't be healthy without this side of the game improving dramatically. Blackburn published a state of the game earlier this month, Bungie's way of updating the community about the future of Destiny 2. It addressed some feedback from the Destiny 2 PvP community, but it didn't do enough to ease concerns about the state of PvP. While Bungie has invested in PvP game modes, armor, and weapons, the company has tried to shake up the meta in weird ways and has rarely delivered new maps. Blackburn's original state of the game didn't promise any drastic changes to PvP or the map situation, so he was forced to respond in a video days later and shift strategy after community outcry. We know that the strategy that we've had for PvP over the last 2 years isn't working, so let's inject a strategy shift here, says Blackburn. That is going to take resources from other parts of the game. We feel like now that is important. We're going to make the trade-off in some ways, but it's not a trade-off we make lightly. It is definitely a thing both internally and externally where we got to make a change here. Bungie is forming a PvP strike team to take a look at the many issues that exist in the PvP side of the game. I know if I were part of the strike team, the first thing I'd do is remove that annoying and giant banner that appears over your crosshair when you've won a game or round, but you're still in combat. You literally can't aim properly with this on the screen. And it's one of the many pet peeves with the PvP side. Blackburn isn't ready to make any big promises here, as he wants the PvP strike team to come out and start talking soon. But he's quick to make it clear Bungie hasn't pulled all its PvP talent away from Destiny to create Marathon, its upcoming extraction shooter. A narrative has emerged that Bungie is ignoring PvP in Destiny because of Marathon, but it sounds like the company has been wary of taking resources away from other parts of the game that players are often more willing to spend money on. If we have resources in mind that we could put on a problem, there's not a thing we're afraid of tackling, says Blackburn. We also have some legacy talent elsewhere. While some of those folks are off doing awesome stuff that's needed for the future of the company, no one is afraid of going over and speaking to them and saying, hey, can you come in and play this thing? Can you help us with this thing? There are no 10 feet walls at Bungie for not sharing or nurturing that talent. The PvP strike team will be a crucial moment for Destiny 2 alongside the final shape and beyond. What's clear from Blackburn and the team is that even as one long-running saga is coming to an end, Destiny 2 is very much here to stay. No, we have not had a PvP team since 2018. Yeah, since 2018. We have not had a PvP team since then. Maybe 2019. Yeah, it's a good article. Good article. I wish there was more like raw questions, but obviously they probably did ask them, but they weren't getting all the answers. Guys, I don't know, man. Final Shape is really going to be the say-all end all. Let me say this. If Final Shape rolls out and is one of the best expansions Bungie has ever given us, if not the best, and I do expect the best, considering it is the finale. If it is just the best Bungie has ever made, then I have full confidence that we will continue getting content in Destiny for years and years to come. If it rolls out and we experience, you know, a couple areas that were good, but if it's like Lightfall 2.0, that's probably it, man. I'm going to assume that it's just going to be a slow trickle, slow burn, and that the episodes are not going to be the bulky quality content that they're talking about. Instead, it's just a means to just dial things back and devote resources elsewhere. I know what Joe is saying. I do appreciate like him giving us an insight into the work culture at Bungie, which is if you have an issue or a problem. For instance, if someone was working on Sandbox and now they're working on another team on another game, it's nice that you can go over there and say, hey, listen, why is it that, this thing is bugging out? Or, okay, can you show me or can you play test, Sun Warrior over here before we ship it, right? It's nice that you can go back and forth. But that doesn't mean you can't go over there and say, hey, listen, drop your project right now. We've got to ship a whole new subclass. That's not going to happen. Final Shape is really it's gonna really define what's going to go on for years to come for Destiny. Again, if it's great, then I fully expect Bungie to continue doing Destiny 2 stuff. If it's Lightfall 2.0, then that's it. Eyes are going to be focused on Marathon and the new IP, and Destiny 2 will get its revamped and its glow up probably after 2025, closer to 2026, if they do a big annual expansion for Destiny 2 again. Or what after Final Shape? Just seasonal stuff? Yeah, just seasonal stuff. I mean, when we go and we actually look at this, again, Echoes, Revenant, and Heresy. This is the fallout. We're going to be experiencing the fallout after the Light and Darkness saga. So we've got Echoes. Okay, there we go. New exotic weapon, new exotic mission. Each one of these are going to bring... And that's a strange thing, too. Is like they're throwing on their new exotic weapon. We already get that for the season pass. So new quests, new story, new activities, new rank pass rewards, new armor. And we get new weapons, new rank passes, and new artifact mods, or additional set of ones every single act here. Here's what I don't see on this list. I don't see new dungeons. I don't see new raids or reprised raids, returning raid. Bungie laid that out for us a year ago. They explicitly stated a raid, dungeon, raid, dungeon. They led off with that. That was what they announced. Oh, there is a Final Shape dungeon key. Dungeons are coming. Is it launching with Final Shape? So new raid, the Final Shape dungeon key, new pinnacle challenges await annual pass owners. Unlock 2 dungeons releasing during the year of the Final Shape. We are getting 2 new dungeons. Okay. All right. Well, shit. Oh, one of these acts is during the Final Shape. Echoes is going to release 4, 5, 6 weeks after the Final Shape. So raid... Dungeon. Guys, they literally said episode 1, Echoes, will be launching in March. Final Shape will be launching in February. All right. So, okay, say it's 3 weeks afterwards. Say it's 3 weeks afterwards, 2 weeks afterwards, a week after. I don't fucking care. The point is, I think the 2 dungeons, one dungeon will come in Revenant and another dungeon will come in Heresy. Echo starts 1 week after Final Shape. Look at the top left. Oh, yeah. I see the dates, guys. I know. But the Final Shape launches in February. You see where I'm coming from? And actually, let me go ahead and point this out. Final Shape launches what day? What day? February the 27th? Okay. The Final Shape launches February the 27th. March is whenever things begin, which is like just a few days later. But let's just say 1 week afterwards. 1 week afterwards in March is when it launches. The episode will probably start after the raid is completed. That's my guess. That's my guess too. That's what's going to begin the act, guys. The story, right? Again, this is the fallout. It will begin after the fallout between the Light and Darkness saga. And that has to be concluded in the raid. So depending on when the raid launches, which is going to be a Friday, it won't be the Friday of that week. It will probably be the Friday following it. It may be a little bit longer, I think, but probably just 10 days. Joe said in the post show, I'm pretty sure that Echoes begins the week after the raid. Well, there you go. It'll be Friday. We'll hit the raid. We'll do the raid that week. And then the following Tuesday is probably when Echoes will begin. Okay, let me also say this. How many artifact mods do we have every season? We get 25. Currently, we have 4 seasons per year. 4 seasons, 100 artifact mods, correct? Now we're going to have 35 per episode. But there's only 3 episodes. So we're at 105. So it's about the same. Each act will add 50 more season ranks, which are probably just, a lot of upgrade materials, whatnot, deep side harmonizers, cosmetics here and there. But that also means more opportunities to have people buy the ranks. They probably pitched this internally and were like, we can't do 3 seasons when we've been doing 4 because we lose the chance to monetize. And so that's why they're adding on essentially a whole new season pass in a given episode. All right, let me just leave it at this. Do you think the content is going to be more or less next year? That's all. I think we have gotten used to the cadence of 2 dungeons and 2 raids per year. Didn't last year Bungie announce we were going to be getting, like, before Vault of Glass launched, the year before Vault of Glass, didn't we know that we were going to be getting a reprised raid? And didn't last year we were also told we were going to get a reprised raid? Has Bungie said anything about us getting a reprised raid like next year? It's honestly very close. 59% say we're going to get less content. 41% say we're going to get more. I don't know. I'm hopeful. I really am, man. Echoes seems like it's going to have something. I mean, literally from the pictures, it's going to have something to do with the Vex, Revenant, Scorn, Heresy, the Hive. I'm sure we're going to be wrapping up loose ends and whatnot. My personal opinion, guys, is that the final shape is going to be the last powwow. I think it's going to be the last powwow. Let's have a good damn time, everybody. I think it's going to be the last powwow for a while. I think that Bungie is going to be hands on deck launching Marathon and their new IP. I think that we may go a couple years without an annual expansion, and that we're going to have these episodes over the next 2 years. Let's just start from scratch with a new storyline. Ah, man, I think Destiny's got great lore. I mean, there's so much stuff. I mean, it's like unreal, like how much they can talk about. It's just how they tell the story, you know? Do you think Destiny 2 could survive without an annual expansion? It all comes down to the episodes, guys. I don't know. That's why they're shifting to this. I really don't know. If the episodes are great and we're like, oh my God, dude, we got so much content, so much stuff to do. The story is seamless, man. I think that episodes could carry it, you know? Bungie could actually change up. They could literally change up their entire model. You know, they could go the route of just front loading these episodes and maybe turn the game into, hey, you come in, you pay $15, boom, you've got 4 months of content. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's going to match what we would get from an annual expansion, but could it carry it for 2 years? Probably could. Probably carry it for 2 years until they get done with Marathon. And obviously the Marathon is going to be a live game. So they're going to continue taking care of Marathon. And I guess their other IP is going to be a MOBA. You don't just ship a MOBA and just let it, you know, these are games that fit into their model of live services, right? But I think they want to give those games a fair shake. Where this is going to be a problem is if it's like Curse of Osiris. You know what I mean? You know, when you look at this, you could say everything here fits the Curse of Osiris stamp. New quests, new story, new activity, new weapons. Didn't have an artifact back then or artifact mods, but there you go. Didn't have season ranks back then or season pass, but there you go. Past rewards, that's in there with past ranks and new armor. Worth keeping in mind, Destiny 1's 10th anniversary is next year. Seems like a decent time for a 30th anniversary style release. I agree. But I also want to point out one thing. I was very much a devoted Halo player for years. I loved Halo Reach. But Bungie dropped Halo Reach and never called back, man. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Bungie's like, Halo who? Never knew her. So it's not the first time Bungie's broken up with me. I mean, I've been burnt before, so I know when to look for the signs. A huge sign is when you look around and all the loot is coming out really easy. You're like, the fuck is going on? Oh, the drops here lately, it's just been insane. Look around, everybody's got the nice shit on. You're like, damn, we're all decked out, man. What's happening? You got that exotic too? I got that exotic. I thought this was a rare drop. That was the end of Destiny 1, by the way. We were all sitting around with our Age of Triumph armor. Loot was like mad, man. Bungie was just like dishing that shit out. And then that was it. Bungie didn't own the Halo IP. They owned Destiny IP. They need the Destiny money. Maybe Bungie's tired of hearing our shit. And they're going to go out with 2 middle fingers up. And they're going to go, inside a Marathon.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.